Hello guys, today we are going to discuss the topic measures of a dispersion. In this we will cover the following points: need and the purpose of a dispersion. See, it is very important to understand what is the purpose of a measures of dispersion, why you have to calculate those. Unless and until you understand that, it is a meaningless thing to calculate the dispersion. Then once once you will recognize, yes, it is important. So of course second point comes up, and that is the definition. How to define the dispersion, that will be our second topic for this video. The third is the ideal measures of a dispersion. Ideal measures, see, there are different types of different measures. Using those we can calculate the dispersion. For example, range, mean deviation, quartile deviation, standard deviation, right? So there are four different types. So out of these four, which is the ideal one? So how we can recognize, yes, a standard deviation is ideal, range is not ideal. How we can recognize that? So for that we will see their ideal measures, how to find out that. Then the next is the types of a dispersion. Okay, so now let's start with the first point. What is the need and purpose of measures of dispersion? For this, just try to concentrate on these three different series. The three different series are nothing but, in the first series the data is given to you as a 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. And for this first series the mean value is 9. Okay. Then in the second series the data is 3, 6, 9, 12 and 15. Still the mean is how much? Mean is 9. In the third series the data is 1, 5, 9, 13 and 17, but mean is 9. So we can see here that there are three different series, right? But all the three different series, the average is 9. So what this average tells you exactly? It just gives you the idea about the data around which it clusters. Okay, it is your central value around which your data cluster. Only that much information you get with the help of a measures of a central tendency. But now after seeing this series we can understand, is it enough? No, of course not, because yes, it tells you the central value around which your data cluster, but how much dispersed the data is from your central value, it is also important to find out. It is also important to note down. Yes, and for that we need the measures of a dispersion. Okay, so ultimately what is the purpose? To check the homogeneity or the heterogeneity of the series. For example, in the first series, about the first series, we can say that first series is homogeneous. Okay, because the scatteredness, the variation is less in the first series, right? Then in the second series we can say that, if we are comparing, so we can say that yes, series 2 is more heterogeneous than the series 1, and the series 3 is even more heterogeneous than the first two series, right? So this is the purpose why we are calculating the measures of a dispersion, to get the idea about the scatteredness of the data. Okay, then now once it is important, once it is needed, how to define it, that is important. So now on the basis of entire discussion we can conclude here that it is the degree to which our numerical data tends to spread around that average value, because ultimately once we have calculated the average, what we are calculating, how much dispersed, how much scattered our data is, the scatteredness in the data, and hence it is nothing but a degree to which numerical data tends to spread around an average value. Ideal measure of a dispersion. We know that there are different types of dispersion. Using that we can calculate the variation in the data, the scatteredness in the data. Okay, now out of these different types, which one is the ideal one, that is also important to recognize. So for that, the few points are given to us. We can say that if such properties or the characteristics are satisfied, then it is the ideal measure of a dispersion. Okay, So the first one is it should be rigidly defined. Rigidly defined means it should be the well defined. If that measure is well defined, then it is a we can say that the one of the property of the idealness is satisfied. Then secondly, it should be easy to calculate and understand. That means if a person who is not from the mathematics or the statistics background, still he or she should be able to calculate that. Then the third is it should be based on all the observations. Now if our data is not based on all the observation, means if it is considering only 5% or 10% or 50% of the data, so can we say that it is a reliable one to take a decision about the entire variation in the data? No, of course not, right? So therefore to get the ideal, it should be based on all the observation. This is one of the property. Then next is the amenable to further mathematical treatment. Now amenable to further mathematical treatment means what? See, whatever the measure of dispersion you are calculating, it should be based on all observation. If it is not based on all observation, you cannot take it for the further studies, further calculation. So ultimately these 2 points are interrelated. If the observation is based on all observation, then and then only you can take it for the further mathematical treatment. And the last one is it should be least affected by the sampling or the fluctuations in the sampling. For example, you are taking the first sample and you are calculating the measure of dispersion. Let it be X, okay, and you are taking the second sample and again calculating the dispersion, it is Y, but the difference between the X and Y is a huge, it is a large. So is it acceptable? No, it should be less affected, okay. Then and then only we can say that it is a reliable one. Even though we are taking the different sample, there is a less fluctuations in the variation in the dispersion of the data, okay. So this is our fifth point. Then the next is the types of a dispersion. There are different types of dispersion. First one is range, then the quartile deviation, mean deviation and the standard deviation, okay. Now let's discuss one by one all the 4 measures of a dispersion. The first one is the range. How to define the range? Range is nothing but the difference of a largest value and the smallest value, and therefore the formula given to us as a range equals to x max minus x minimum. That means we are taking the difference of a largest value and a smallest value, and that is nothing but the range. Now how to calculate it? So here one data is given to us, right? Now in this particular data, what is our smallest value? The smallest value is the 2, and which is the maximum value in this particular data? It is nothing but a 20, right? So what will be the range for this particular data? Here it is nothing but range equals to 20 minus 2, and it is nothing but 18. So this is the range given for this particular series, particular data, okay. Now can we say that range is the ideal measure of a dispersion? So for that, of course, we again need to calculate, we again need to discuss either these properties are satisfied or not, right? So yes, it is rigidly defined. Yes, it is rigidly defined. Then secondly, is it easy to calculate and understand? Yes, anyone can easily calculate the range. It should be based on all the observation. Is it based on all the observation? No, it is not based on all the observation. It just consider the 2 values in the entire data and conclude and take the decision about the dispersion in the data. So yes, as it is not based on all observation, then it is not available for the further mathematical treatment as well. And yes, fluctuations from sampling to sampling will change our range a lot, okay. For example, if we are taking the another series, okay, another data, let us take it as a 2, 4, 6, 9, 20 and 35. Okay, now in this particular case, this is the another sample. In this particular case, what will be the range here? Which is our maximum value 35 and which is our smallest value? It is a 2. So here range for this particular data will be the 33. Now the variation is very large and here the range is very different than the first one. Okay, and therefore it is not a suitable measure of a dispersion, or we can say that ideal measure of a dispersion. Now here the few points are given. We should discuss that. It is simplest. Yes, it is easy to understand. It is simple to calculate. It is a crude measure of a dispersion. Crude measure of dispersion means what? It just based on the extreme values. One is the smallest and one is the largest, and therefore it is said it is a crude measure of a dispersion and not a reliable measure. Of course, it just consider the two values to conclude about the scatterness dispersion in the data. So yes, it is not the reliable measure of a dispersion. The next measure of dispersion is the quartile deviation, sometimes also called as a semi-interquartile range. What is the concept here? That we are going to divide our entire data into the 4 equal parts. Okay, when we are dividing the data into the 4 equal parts, that means every part should consist of a 25% observation, right? And when we want to divide the data into the 4 equal parts, so that times we need the 3 partition, and those 3 partitions are nothing but our 3 quartiles. So here basically Q1 is our first quartile, and from starting till Q1 there will be a 25% distribution of the data. Okay, and above that there will be a till end there will be a 75% observation. After that the Q2 is our second quartile. Okay, and what is the second quartile? From starting till the Q2 there will be a 50% distribution of the data, and above that there will be a remaining 50% of the observation. Okay, now Q2 is sometimes referred to as a median. Why we are saying it as a median? Because what is median? Basically, median is the value which divides our entire data into the 2 equal parts, right? And what Q2 is doing? Q2 is also dividing our data into the 2 equal parts. That means 50% observation below the Q2, and Q2 till end there is a 50% of observation, right? And therefore sometimes Q2 is referred to as our median value which divides the data into the 2 equal parts. Okay, then the third quartile is the Q3. Then from starting till the Q3 there will be a 75% observation, and from Q3 till end there will be a remaining 25% distribution of the data. Now, how to calculate? Next question, how to calculate the quartile deviation? So, for that the formula is 1 upon 2 times Q3 minus Q1. So, here just try to observe one thing, that it is just considering the 50% of the data which is lying between the Q1 and the Q3, and it is completely ignoring the first 25% of the data and the next 25% of the data. So, can we say that it is the ideal measure? No, we cannot say that. Why? Because it is not based on the all the observations, right? Then the next, let's take it out for the next measure, which is the mean deviation. First thing, how to calculate the mean deviation? For that the formula is 1 upon n summation of fi modulus of xi minus a. Okay, here first of all, what is a? A is our arbitrary number. What is our fi? Xi given fi is nothing but our frequency distribution. See, in this video we are just discussing the concepts. Calculations we will see in the next video. Okay, now basically mean deviation is divided or considered as a 3 parts or 3 types. first is mean deviation about mean. Okay, now what is mean deviation about mean? Basically the formula is same. Okay, only instead of the arbitrary number, what we are going to consider here, the m is nothing but our mean value. For example, if our data is, our xi values are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So at that time what will be our mean? Mean will be the average of this 5 numbers. Okay, that will be our m. Then what is mean deviation about median? Mean deviation about median is nothing but 1 upon n summation of fi modulus of xi minus me. What is me? Instead of now arbitrary number, which value we will consider? The median value, the central value, instead of a mean or any arbitrary number. And third point is that mean deviation about mode, it is nothing but 1 upon n summation of fi modulus of a xi minus mo. Mo is nothing but our modal value. Whatever the data will be given to us, for that we will calculate the mode value and we will take the deviations from the mode. So this is our mean deviation about mean, median and mode. Now the next question is, which is to consider? Either we should consider the arbitrary number or we should consider the mean deviation about mean, about median or about the mode. So here the one standard result is that mean deviation when considered around the median, it gives you the better result, or we can say mean deviation is the least when it is considered around the median value. Okay. Now the next question is, can we say that mean deviation is the ideal measure of dispersion? So can we? Of course no. Again, why we cannot say that? Because here let us consider our xi values are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay. Now here a means what? A is our arbitrary number, right? So here we can take any one. Okay, we can take 1, we can take 2, we can take 3, 4 and 5. So let me take here the number 2. So what is, if I am taking arbitrary number 2, so what will be this part? Okay, it is modulus of 1 minus 2. So what it is minus 1, but as it is a modulus value, it will consider only 1, right? So it is completely ignoring what? It is completely ignoring the sign of our data, and therefore even though it is based on all the observations of the data, we cannot say that it is the ideal one because it ignores the sign of the data. So the last type of dispersion is the standard deviation. Okay, standard deviation is denoted by the sigma, which is a Greek letter. Okay, now basically the standard deviation first time given by the Professor Karl Pearson in the year 1819. Okay, then he has defined the standard deviation as, it is the positive square root of the arithmetic mean of the squares of the deviations of the given values from their arithmetic mean. Sounds something complicated? Okay. So let's try to make it a simpler. Okay. There is no need to by heart the definition. Okay. So what they have said here, it is the positive square root. Okay. So I am writing down here the positive square root, okay, of the arithmetic mean. What is arithmetic mean here? Sum of all the observations divided by total number of elements, right? That is our arithmetic mean. Then arithmetic mean of the squares of, okay, so here I am writing the squares of the deviations, okay, deviation. Now with whom we have to take the deviations? Deviations of the given values. If your xi values is denoted by the xi, then it is given, it is taken from the given values from their arithmetic mean. Here it is a x bar. So it is a simple formula for the standard deviation. Now just keep this and let's try to focus on it. I am again repeating, it is the square root of arithmetic mean of square of a deviation of a set of values from its mean is nothing but the standard deviation. Okay, now before the standard deviation we have discussed the mean deviation, which is 1 upon n summation of mod of xi minus x bar. Okay, so here what was the drawback for the mean deviation? Basically it was ignoring your signs completely. Okay, so this drawback is overcome in the standard deviation just by taking the squares of your entire differences. So of course whatever the negative value was coming, if we are squaring it, so that means we are considering the value, negative value as it is. Okay, so now it is based on all observation, it is not ignoring the negative signs, it is considering all positive negative signs. After that it is available for the further mathematical treatment as it is based on each and every observation, right? So we can call the standard deviation as a ideal measure of a dispersion, as our almost all assumptions are satisfied except, okay, the standard deviation is extremely affected by the extreme values. Okay, what is extreme value? That means if the outliers are there in the data, then it will affect our value of the standard deviation. Okay, if outlier is not there, then yes, we can simply go with it, we can calculate the standard deviation and we can find out the dispersion in the data, the scatterness in the data. So ultimately what the conclusion about the types of dispersion, if your value of the standard deviation or the value of the measure of dispersion is lesser, then the degree of homogeneity or the degree of scatterness is also less, right? Or homogeneity is more, right? So this is how the standard deviation is. Okay, now one question for all of you guys, that when we were talking about the mean deviation, we had made the one statement that mean deviation, when it is taken around the median, it is the mean deviation is the least. Okay, and here when we are defining the formula of the standard deviation, so at that time we are taking here the mean, and why not the median? Okay, if you know, just let me know in the comment box. If you like my video, please like it, share it and comment on it.